Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to talk to you about something that is a huge topic. Been talking with my group about it, but something I've been working through, but something that for years I have seen. What separates those who are successful in their businesses online from those that struggle is their ability to take their perfectionism and channel it in the right way. I'm a recovering perfectionist, somebody who always needs everything to be perfect. But can I tell you this? Perfectionism is not the way to build a business successfully. Perfectionism feels like it's the right way to do it. A spirit of excellence. We're going to make sure that we do everything right. We're going to make sure that we get all the stuff right and we get it done. But the truth is, it is one of the most detrimental things that we can do. And I want to challenge you on that. Because again, as somebody who is a recovering perfectionist, I understand your desire to do the right things. Nobody wants to lose money. Nobody wants to hurt their clients. Nobody wants to not deliver results. Of course, right? We want to over deliver all the time. But perfectionism is not the way to do that. In fact, there's a process I learned the name of. It's called imperfectionism. And it's something that I find that when I operate in it, I get more done. As a business owner, you need to learn to operate in imperfectionism, where you start to embrace things not going perfect, meaning this. It goes beyond just your actions, but also your results. See, we desire to have a control over things. We want things to go well. I want to make sure that I got my copyright, my ads, and all of that before I launch a campaign so that I don't lose any money and everything goes perfect. And that right there is a losing battle. It's a setup for failure. It's actually one of the number one things that will keep you from success is having that thinking in your mind. I want to make sure that I got it all dialed in so that I get the perfect result. There's no such thing as a perfect result. And what works so much better than that is consistent, imperfect action. I've been preaching it literally for the longest time. But what I found is that in theory, most people struggle with this. They're looking to validate themselves through perfection. They're looking to feel certainty and safety. They're looking to make sure that things go well for them, that they don't miss out on the goals that they want. And of course, those are our desires. The reason why people coach with me, they're in my Wealthy Coach Academy program, and I work with mentors, trainers, coaches every single week to dial in the nuances of what makes sure that things click and they get results for them. Our clients get results that are in there. But the number one thing that I tell people is, in fact, you got to be willing to put it out there and it not produce a result and embrace the lessons you learned just by doing the action, just by taking the imperfect action. That it's an iterative process, that there's a process where part of your process is going to include a failed campaign. And that means that you did it the right way. Part of your process means that you're going to have some cost of tuition, maybe an offer that doesn't convert how you want it to. And in fact, the mission and the goal that we have to not experience that is the number one reason why you're not experiencing the results that you want. That when we can embrace imperfection, taking action, good enough is good enough, launch it out there. We don't need it to be perfect. I don't need this to be the perfect video that's perfectly curated. I don't need this to be the perfect piece of content. I don't need my course to be perfect before I put it out there. And we get more to around imperfect, prolific nature. That it's the consistent, prolific nature. Being prolific means that you're putting stuff out there consistently. All right, I got a video out. I'm going to get one out next week. I got a course out. I'm going to get another one out next week. I got an offer out. I'm going to get another one out next week. And that actually becomes your behavior. I got new ads out. We're going to launch new ones next week. We're not going to sit on the laurels of this one thing that I put together produces the result. But rather, it's the body of work. It's the long-term, consistent showing up and being yourself and consistently doing that. And then here's what I love to do. Here's one of my favorite things. a reductionist viewpoint. What can I remove that's a waste of time? I just did this in my business. I have a podcast. It's called the Grow Your Life Podcast. It has over like 350 episodes. I think we're on like the 350s. Somewhere around there. 325, 350, something like that. And we stopped counting. And I decided, you know what? My YouTube videos that I put here, we're just going to put it up as the podcast. I'm not going to do a dedicated podcast every week. I'm just going to, when I feel inspiration, I'm going to record it. We're going to put it on YouTube. My team is going to go put it as a podcast. Reduced literally a couple hours of my week right there to keep things simple, to keep it flowing, to keep it working. Right now it's about 5:12. I usually end my day at 5. Kind of a crazy day here. I had to leave and go do some stuff with the family a little bit early. Told my wife, let's order some dinner, and I'll be done in about 10 minutes. 10, 15 minutes after 5. Perfectly fine. But I came up with this video. It's been something I've been feeling in my heart that I want to share with you for a while. And it's one of the number one things that will literally produce the financial returns you want. It will produce, and by the way, I don't say that flippantly, that it's the number one thing. It is the number one thing. Everything else kind of comes number 2 to this when you get it. Embracing the failures, the mistakes. You forgot to record your video. You forgot to turn your microphone on when you were recording. It's okay. It's part of the process. It's part of that process. And then here's one of the biggest things that you do. That disappointment that we feel. I actually learned this when I studied it because I wanted to get a tactic that could help you guys. I went and I found as many resources as I could on this, and I learned this again from stock market trading. It's been something I've been doing recently. Had a great month. Like I think I did like 30,000 in profit from my trading about a month ago, and it was incredible. This month's been a little bit lower. That's kind of how it goes with trading stocks. It's very interesting. Like you have a big month, and then you kind of like, it's not that I pulled back, but it's like, okay, what was the mojo that I had then? I lost it, didn't lose it technically, but it's the mindset shift. And there's books that I read on this topic. And one of the biggest things is like, okay, like when you have a down month, you want your emotions to be at a baseline. You don't want them to dip. You don't want to get flooded with those negative emotions. You want the darkest negative moments to actually be your baseline of positivity. And then your highs, you don't want them to be so high that you got to come down with them that you're so euphoric. Finding a balance of the highs and lows emotionally when we accomplish things, when we hit a great month, when we have a great year in our business, right? My biggest month prior to that, I did like $8,000 in the stock market. And then I some of y'all have heard the story. I lost like 12,000 in 15 minutes. The next week, made it back, quadruple back, because I know how to do that. This month, been kind of break even. Made some, lost some, made some, lost some. Okay, what's going on? What am I not doing that I was doing when I hit that $30,000 month? I start to pinpoint it. I start to notice the emotions inside of me. I really focus on those, regulating them, keeping them solid. Not that I'm numbed out, not that I'm not emotional. This is a huge part of it. You have emotion, but you reframe them, and you reframe what your baseline is. And so you get to where, okay, the hardest, darkest thing that happens, that's kind of your baseline. And then everything else can flow from there, rather than I have this low, like, because what I wanted, because I know that like having a losing trade is going to be part of the process. This week has been crazy in the market. Had a losing trade because the president tweeted a couple times at China. Okay. But I didn't lose more because of that. And I'm thankful that I actually protected my assets because of that. Some people lost their whole portfolios in the last week. I did not. I can still trade. Can still make that money back. Make it back in a week. Probably will. I'm declaring it right now. Probably will. Totally. But that lesson that I learned in that, I bring it to business. And I actually wish I knew it in business. Years ago, in my business, I can see the value of it. It doesn't just apply to stock trading. It applies in my relationship with my family. It applies in how I show up with my clients. You know, I used to get real, like when I had a client that was disappointed or was negative or they felt upset with me, it would just ruin me inside. Now it's like, I'm like, okay, let's take a look at what's going on here. And how do I show up as a leader, the leader that I'm called to be, the leader that I'm meant to be a strong, powerful leader that doesn't lead from a place of dictation, but rather with love and kindness, and can help guide people in that. How do I show up with my family when I'm having a tough day? All these things are interconnected. And I truly believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. How I show up in my emotions. Sure, I might have one area in my life where I'm really solid in it and others where I struggle. But the big picture of how I live my life outside of my business, outside of trading, in my relationships is also how I show up in everything else. And so if there's a moment where I'm getting flustered because these things happen, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm getting flustered in other areas of my life. I notice this, and so I don't need to be perfect with my family. I don't need to be perfect with my spouse. By the way, my wife does not want me to be. She knows that if I'm trying and striving to be that way, she says I show up kind of like an a-hole in our family a little bit. She's like, dude, you're trying too hard to be perfect. And you're running all over everybody and being a jerk to everybody. And when I just kind of let go and have fun and let loose and do a little dance a little bit, even with the kids or something like that, right? I do a little dance in my business. Do a little dance here on this video. Everything flows from that so much better. The sales copy comes together. I can literally shrink the amount of time that it takes me to accomplish things when I flow from that place. Stuff that would have taken me hours to do, I could get done in 30 minutes. Literally did that today. It's powerful. Powerful to see that. I want to encourage you. You can accomplish anything that you want to. I believe in you. But there are things inside of you, shifts that you have to make, behaviors, things that you have held onto for your whole life. Things that you've always done, how you've always shown up as success strategies that you're going to have to fix or you're not going to be successful. And if you don't change them, success is going to escape you. You literally will not be capable of success operating in certain habits and behaviors and ways of doing things when you do them in your business. And it takes growth. This is the personal growth journey that can change your life. It's changed mine. It's changed my family. It's changed a lot of these lessons my mother has taught me, has imparted to me. I've seen as her just the multi-millionaire powerful woman that she is. She's a mentor to me every single day, but I've seen it firsthand, and gosh, I thought the cocky person I thought I knew everything about business years ago when I was working with her, and now I'm like, I don't know anything, but I'm learning more and more, and I can accomplish more and do anything I want to. Listen, if you're a coach, if you're a mentor, I'd love to work with you inside my Wealthy Coach Academy program. I'd love to see you in there. Get into a community of people that are making it happen. I'd love to work with you in there and get those results for you as well. We'll see you soon, real soon. Have a good one. Subscribe to the channel. Love you. Bye.